Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Aspire 32. And once again, today we have a very important podcast. And the host is, your Suresh Shenvi, but we have a guest who is a very good friend of mine, very energetic, young and dynamic. And welcome to Aspire 32, Dr. Praveen.
Thank you, Suresh sir. It's a pleasure for me to be here and addressing all your students. Thank you for the invite.
Dr. Praveen is endodontist. He belongs to the same field where I practice, and but he has been an inventor for microtube technique in endodontics. He has a exclusive microscopic endodontic practice in Bangalore and Chennai. And with big dreams, he has also finished his M.Endo program. And that is the podcast on Aspire 32 today to motivate endodontists if they want to pursue the M.Endo. Dr. Rajesh Praveen Rajesh is going to give all the information to us. So before going ahead, I'm sure Dr. Praveen, you finished your PG in Bapuji Davangere, and why did this thought came in your mind that I should be doing something different after uh, the conventional MDS degree? You ended up doing again an additional certification. So can you just give me an idea how that thought came in your mind?
Well, Suresh sir, we all feel like even after MDS, there is some lacunae in our training. After MDS, also many people do PhD, although we do dissertation, but still we feel like doing another research topic in depth. Similarly, I felt my clinical skills, especially my treatment planning skills, interdisciplinary thinking skills, needed a little bit more refining. And of course, I was very good at doing root canals, but I knew that there was something else I needed to perfect. And right from my childhood, I heard my uncles who were doctors saying about the Royal College of Surgeons, MRCS, FRCS, and all those things. So I was trying to explore if there's something like that for dentistry. And luckily, I stumbled upon the M.Endo.RCS, which all of us would have heard of MFDS, but then M.Endo was something for these MDS specialists in endo. So here, this was a very clinical exam, and at the end of the exam, you get a degree. So this felt like which it was like tailor made for me. It was someone, I'm a very clinical guy, and I wanted to improve my clinical treatment planning. So I felt this degree gave me recognition, and it also helped me improve my clinical skills. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree with you that we all need to keep updating ourselves, and it's always good to achieve higher things as and when we complete one milestone. So we have made a podcast on M ortho, and I'm sure M endo is very similar to that. So this exam it's conducted where and how much what is the process of this whole exam in a gist?
Okay. So the M.Orth is a very old exam, and it's very popular across the world. Many orthodontists have done it. In fact, a lot of Indian orthodontists have completed it. At the same time, there was something called the MRD exam, or the Membership in Restorative Dentistry exam. That has been there from many years. But unfortunately, not many people from India has done MRD because it was a combination of prosto, perio, and endo. So it was, you need a holistic knowledge in all the three restorative specialties, which our curriculum, MDS curriculum in India, doesn't allow it. So if you see from till 2013, not many people actually knew about this exam, including me. Only in 2015, I actually got to know about this exam. In fact, the M.Endo exam was introduced, M.Endo, M-Prosto, and M-Perio. It's actually just basically the MRD exam, which has been split into three parts now. And this has become popular since 2013. And in 2015, when I was looking for this exam, I found this online.
Is that there is an ORA exam also in the UK, there
Correct.
is LDS exam. What is different between these exams? Because I know that when we did a podcast on the ORA exam on Aspire 32, it is more about licensing, exams for the UK. So how different is this exam compared to those exams?
Well, the ORE and the LDS are the only licensing exams for the UK. This exam is not a licensing exam, but it is an exam that will recognize you as a specialist in the UK. So your basic licensing exam still needs to be completed. This will give you the ability to register yourself as a specialist dentist in the UK.
Okay, so that means that with this additional M.Endo degree, you can't directly practice, but it gives you a recognition. And I think the same rule applies for M also, because we end up getting a lot of question on M ortho podcast saying that can I practice orthodontics in UK with just M ortho? So I think if you do M.Endo, it is absolutely very clear that you can't practice endodontics just with M.Endo in UK. You still have to do the licensing exam.
I think a lot of confusion came because other specialties like ENT and Ophthal, if they do M.RCS, they can practice in the UK. They don't need a special licensing exam, but not in dentistry. In dentistry, even after your M.RCS or the M.Endo.RCS, you still need to give the ORE.
Okay. Okay. And I think that is why this process, that practicing dentistry as an international student is made difficult everywhere, except in very few countries.
Unfortunately.
What is the application requirement if somebody wants to do M.Endo after, in dentistry? So if I'm not wrong, is it must that you need to be an endodontist if you want to do the M.Endo program, or that is not a requirement?
Well, the M.Endo program requires a candidate to complete 3 years of supervised training, which can be full-time or part-time. So they don't mention that you need to be full-time MDS student to do this. Even if you had a part-time training in any hospital in endo, but it should be supervised by some professor, well, you can apply for it. In fact, a lot of Egyptians in the Egypt, there's a lot of training centers which give them this kind of part-time training, and people do apply for it after this training. But 3 years is compulsory. 36 months is mandatory. You can apply for it in the final year of your 3-year training program. That is after you complete 24 months of training. With this said, there is another exam called Diploma in Endodontics, which is yet to be launched by the Royal College of Surgeons. There, it's called Dip Endo, and it is not officially released by the Royal College, but they'll be soon releasing in 1 or 2 years. And this exam requires only 1 year of training post BDS, and you don't need to be even supervised by a specialist. So anybody who's having post BDS of 1 or 2 years can apply for this exam.
So that was one requirement. And what are the other requirements? Is there any other requirement?
No. Nothing else. If you've got 3 years of training in endo, like an MDS, it should be sufficient. So if you ask for the documents, generally they only ask for your BDS and MDS certificate. If they have doubts regarding your MDS coaching, they might ask for your logbook, academic timetable, and your course curriculum, your DCI curriculum.
Okay. And how do you apply for this M.Endo program? Because it is done in UK. Is it online? Are there any deadlines? How you have to send any documents offline, or it is that sometimes majority applications in US they send the document to the online to the institute that is verified. So how exactly this process happens in M.Endo?
Okay, so right now the process is very simple. Entire thing is online. They announce exam 3 times in a year. Usually the exam happens in March, September, and December and November. And around 2 to 3 months before this time, they open the slots. And when they open the slot, you need to apply. All you need is one small online account in their website portal, and you need to have a credit card. You enter your details as basic demographics and when you finished your BDS, MDS, and all those things. And then you apply, you pay for it. After you pay for it, they will send you a mail asking for certain documents. So the 2 most important documents are your BDS and MDS certificate transcripts. it has to be approved by your university and then mailed to them. Most of the times mails are accepted. Sometimes they can ask you to send a copy of the original to the Royal College in the UK as well.
And how much is the exam fee? I'm not asking about all the preparation of other expenses, but right now, this just application, how much do they charge for this exam?
Exam costs £1,500 if you're giving in the UK. If you're giving in the foreign centers like Dubai and Egypt, it will cost around £1,600.
And how much is that? How much roughly?
Around 1.5 lakhs.
1.5 lakh rupees, just the application fee. And once you pay this fee, is there any it's like duration, like 1 year, within 1 year you have to give this exam, or within 6 months you have to give this exam once you pay the fee? Do you have any such rules?
No, we apply for that particular exam slot, right? So it will be if, for example, if you're applying for the November Dubai exam, the applications open sometime in July or August, and sometimes earlier also. It depends. Every year
it is like a slot. You have to book.
It's a slot.
You have to if you don't appear, that is completely lost.
Yeah. So in fact, this year what happened was the November and September slots opened at the same time. Sometime in, I think, May or June it opened. And the slots usually the slots are open for like a month till the exam, till enough candidates apply. But this time the slots opened and within a week, all the slots got filled, and they closed the slot within a week. So a lot of people were not able to apply. So right now there's a lot of demand for these exams.
You said this exam is conducted in UK, Dubai. So this exam is a practical exam or it's a theoretical exam? Are there any vivas? Because I remember when we did the M-Ortho podcast, he told me there is a case discussion, proper. I think M-Ortho is still like that. You need to have all these cases discussion. The pass rate is very, very low, quite tough. How is M-Endo with respect to these answers?
Quite similar. So even here, it's basically a 3 or 4 day exam continuously. First day would be theory paper. You have 2 theory papers, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, each 2 hours. And the second day will be something called the long unseen cases, which means basically they'll give you case records of some old patients in the UK, and they'll give the photos, x-rays, history, everything. They'll give you 15 minutes with the case. You got to go through it, make your notes, understand the case, and come for a 15-minute viva. So this they will do 4 times on day 2 and sometimes day 3. And on day 4 and sometimes day 5, they will give you 8 short cases. They'll basically give you like photos and x-rays of some patient. They'll show you, and then they'll say, what is this? What is that? They will ask you questions based on these photographs, and they'll expect you to answer a lot of questions within a very short period of time, something like a rapid fire thing. So it's basically more of viva and theory paper. No practical skill involved. Like ORE, you need to sit and do a typho preparation. Here, none of those things are there.
Okay, but still it's a long exam. 3-4 days. This is a long. US exam 2 days. These exams 3 to 5 days.
These are painfully long because it's you'll be in a new country and you'll be facing the whites, and the more time you get, the more difficult you feel it is. But in fact, to be honest, the people abroad are very approachable, friendly, and they are trying to help you pass the exam, which is very different from our country where they keep a strict face and they try to pull you down. Here's the other way around. They try to ask leading questions to make you go to the right answer, right? So it's a friendly exam. You don't have to be afraid or don't feel it's long. I think most people have the knowledge to clear it.
Okay. And did you appear for this exam in UK or Middle East?
I applied in the Dubai, in Middle East, in November. So the Dubai.
If you don't mind, how did you take care of your stay? Did you like? Is it easier to book hotel? How much will be the total expense of this exam? If see 1.5
Okay.
you already told me, but let us
Yeah.
assume somebody has to stay for 4 to 5 days, then we'll have to
Yeah.
plan additional expenses too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good question. In Dubai, of course, when I'm going to give an exam, you don't we don't expect to stay in a 3-star or a 5-star hotel. I stayed in a pretty nominal, decent budget hotel, which had decent facility, and it was near the Union Metro. So over there, it's good to stay near any hotel which is near the metro stations. I think somewhere Bar Dubai or somewhere. I stayed in some hotel there, and it was not too expensive. It came up to like 3,000 per day, I think. I stayed for 5 days, 4 nights and 5 days, because when I gave it was only 3-day exam. Nowadays, it's become a 5-day exam because of the number of candidates. Too many people are applying. So putting together, the hotel would have come up to like maybe 15-20K,
So
and
maybe
the
an
travel.
additional 50,000 expenditure maximum, additional 50,000.
Yeah, if you are in a pretty decent budget place, 50 to 60,000. If you are in a more like Crown Plaza or a little extravagant place, maybe 1 lakh. Yeah,
Okay.
in Dubai. In Egypt, I heard the visa cost is slightly more, and overall flight and everything is also slightly more. So if you give in the Egypt, it will be maybe 20-30,000 more. If you give in the UK, definitely 50 to 80,000 more compared to Dubai.
Okay. This 5 days exam, how do they decide? Like, right now, is it fixed 4 days? Or if 4 days are over, we'll extend it for 5 days?
Yeah.
Or is it like 5 days compulsory? Because the
No, no,
students have to, or the applicants have to think, they would have booked considering that
yeah.
it is 4 days and then they realize when they
Yeah, exactly. That
so,
happened to one of my students. He booked for 4 days, but then the hall ticket mentioned there are for 5 days of exam. So it became a problem, but he had to reschedule his flight. So it's better to assume that it'd be a 5-day exam. Till now, this is the first time they've made it a 5-day exam because of the number of applicants. Usually they don't take more than 20 applicants for M-Endo, 20 for M-Prosto, 20 for M-Perio. If it becomes more than that, they have to extend the dates
okay.
because
Mhm.
the examiners are limited.
Okay. And how about preparing for this exam? Do you think we have to read a theory again? You said there is theory exam. Theory exam. Do you write on a paper or is
Yeah.
it written on the computer? Uh, how exactly does it go? The first
Um,
paper.
so nowadays, right now, it is completely physically written. It's you write it on a paper. You need to. So we make our students practice, in fact, to write on a paper. They give it in an A4 size sheet with different questions. The good part is they give enough space only for writing what they require. So we can't write stories. So the space is also determined by them. And each question will have a specific mark. You need to write according to those marks.
Can you give me one sample question in endodontics to know if I can answer it? Can you at least one simple question
Yeah.
which may appear?
Okay. So one question that I remember is that okay, so like a 16-year-old boy comes to you with a fractured maxillary incisor. He had this fracture like 7-8 years back, and now he's just complaining. He's already got a composite done on it. He's just complaining of discoloration of that tooth. But when you take an IOPA, you see that there is an open apex and there is a draining sinus tract also. This is a case scenario. They'll give you a case scenario like this. Then they'll give you 5 questions regarding this. They will ask you what will be the investigations you want, what will be your treatment plan, what will be the justification for your treatment plan. So when they ask justify, you need to write a lot of evidence-based justification. Like there are in fact systematic reviews stating whether you will do apexification or revascularization. Yeah, so those things you have to quote. And then they asked, I think, what material will we be using and what are the properties of the material for apexification. So then we had to write about MTA, we had to write its properties, chemical composition. So a little bit of theory, but a lot of applied practical questions you can find in the paper.
This is
So
mostly case-based related questions, which
yes, yes.
you have to
All
analyze
the questions,
and then write.
all the questions are case-based. Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's quite similar to your US NBDE exam also, where the second day of exam, they have this case-based scenarios, but it is more of an objective question.
Okay.
What is the usual pass percentage for this M-Endo exam?
So in Dubai, last year, the pass percentage was around 30%, 35%. In Edinburgh, however, they had almost 70 to 80% pass percentage last year. So I'm talking about 2022 results. And 2023, the March exam is over, and their results were also again pretty poor, 25 to 30%. So we felt like the UK exams, the one which are conducted in the UK, had a better pass percentage.
Is it? And why do you think? Why do you think that it is?
I think because most of the candidates were trained in the UK.
Okay, okay.
That's
So, can you see? I'm sure you gave the exam. You must have seen the crowd in Dubai. How many Indians did you see there, or is it more? Because I'm sure that Indians, I believe this certification is very important because in the Middle East and all, with this additional certification, you will end up getting the chances of getting job is very, it's greatly increased. But obviously, the
Yes.
Indian dentist or any dentist in India would ask this question that what will I get if I do this endo? Because if an MDS endodontist applies, then in practice he will believe that I have already done MDS. So endo, how it will help me. But yes, in academics it can help. If you want to go to Middle East, it can help. So in general, like when you visited there, did you have many Indians giving the exam, or you were the only one in your center?
There can never be such a thing that I'm the only Indian anywhere in the world. Indians are everywhere, man. But in this exam, I think 30. When I went, I think 14 or 15 people gave M-Endo, and three or four of us were from India, and another 2-3 of them were Indians. No, actually, yeah, I think 2 of them were from India, and 2 or 3 were Indians, but not from India, Middle East, and there was one endodontist from Australia. He also interestingly had come to give this exam. And of course, there were M-Perio. So all M-Perio, M-Prosto, and M-Endo happens together. So I found a lot of M-Prosto, M-Perio also from India who were giving. But to be honest, not many. Compared to us, a lot of Egyptians were giving. Egyptians, people from Iraq, Iran, that belt of where more dentists from there had come. In fact, I think around 5 to 6 Egyptians had come out of 13, and 2 or 3 from Pakistan as well. So yeah, a mixed crowd, but yeah, a lot of Asians had come to the.
How many attempts do you have? Like, is it unlimited or 1, 2? What are the maximum number of attempts allowed in this exam?
The attempt limit is 4, according officially. This is for the Royal College of Surgeons in Edinburgh. And most people clear by their 3rd or maximum by 4th attempt. Almost, because when I gave, there were people giving their 3rd attempt and 4th attempt and all. So between 2nd and the 3rd attempt, many people clear.
Okay. And if you, how many days does it take to get the result once observed for exam? Is it like 1 week, 1 month?
Approximately 1 month, 1 to 1.5 months.
1 to 1.5 months for results. And if it is not cleared, you can apply for the next year.
Yeah. So this is actually a 2-part exam. Part 1 is your theory. Part 2 is the long case and short case, like I told you. So if you're able to clear one of the parts, you are allowed an exemption from that part in your next attempt. So this is a new rule that has come up. Initially, it was only for the Viva that only for the theory that you could get an exemption. But now for either Viva or theory, you can get an exemption if you clear in one of your attempts. So next attempt, you don't have to get.
Okay. what is the best way to prepare for this exam? Like in a brief, I'm sure if you know, it might be a detailed explanation, but if you can give some very few tips, what is the best way to prepare for this exam?
The best way is to believe that you can clear the exam and prepare for at least 3 months extensively. Like how we believe that we can pass MDS exam, right? All of us passed our MDS final exam. And at one point, most of us are quite confident because you've been studying that same subject for 3 years. I think we can clear. So same level of confidence we need for this exam also. We should not be intimidated by thinking that it's a foreign exam. It is very similar to your MDS final exam, but yes, you do need additional training in prosto, perio, or basically the other restorative specialties as well. And you need to spend at least, I would say, 3 hours per day for three months to 4 months. If you're able to do this consistently, you should be able to clear it. So 2-3 tips I can give is, one is start reading subjects that you are not very good at. Like in prosto, I was not good at occlusion. I was not good at fixed prosthodontics. So I had to read up all that. I had to spend more time with that. Whereas endo, I was more confident, so I didn't have to spend so much time on it. So start studying things that you're weak at. Second is make notes. Keep a dedicated notebook when you're preparing for this exam, because in the last 1 week, so just studying that, Ingle Cohen 2-3 days before exam itself is not possible. Imagine you have Carranza, you have Schillenberg, Rosenstiel, you have Ingle Cohen, all these things before 1 week before the exam.
So
It's
if I am
impossible to
not
pass.
got you wrong, you will have to read other subjects for M&O. Like you have to read perio also. You have to read prosto. Acha. Okay, so you are appearing for all three subjects. What is the degree? Do you get M&O degree? Like, what exactly is the degree called?
So earlier, I told you it was called the MRD, or the Membership in Restorative Dentistry, which means that you have a holistic knowledge on all the three specialties. But now they're split it into three, but still they have at least 20 to 30% of other specialties. So even if you're giving M&O, 20 to 30% of the questions will come from prosto and perio only. So if you're a prosthodontist, you're giving M-Pros, there will be endo and perio questions as well. So we need to be, prepared in everything. But the good news is they don't ask entire prosto perio. For I'm giving endo exam, I know that they like a few subjects in few topics in prosto, few topics in perio. So we know what they like and what they ask. So it's not that difficult to prepare. So the students just need some guidance on what to focus on.
So when it comes to guidance, I also know that you personally guide many aspirants to clear this exam. And how, if you can briefly tell me, how do you help them to prepare better for this?
So when I was giving my first attempt in 2016, actually that was the time I was about to apply for the exam, but I knew I was not prepared well. So I Googled for an instructor all over the internet, and I found only one person in Egypt who was ready to help. But his fees was exorbitant. It was almost like some $3,000 or $4,000 is what he said his fees was. And I was like taken aback. I said, yeah, I'll just try. I'll just give an attempt and see. So much fees I can't afford. So I gave my first exam in 2000. After that, I prepared for a year. 2017, I gave the exam. I could not clear. And I realized that many people were there like me who gave the exam. So we all started sharing notes and sharing questions, and we came together, and we thought, we should help other people in India who are struggling to give this exam, because there's nobody there to guide you from India. So me and a couple of friends from Pakistan and Kuwait, we came together. We compiled a lot of papers and materials for this exam. And from 2020, we've been guiding students unofficially. We never charged anything for it. But then we couldn't spend enough time with the students. We realized that even if we give them the important topics, important areas which are important, they were not able to really understand how the exam worked until we gave them a mock exam, until we sat with them and said, yeah, you have to answer this question like this. you might, because it's a very short exam and they're analyzing 3 specialties in those like 3 hours of being with you. So it's very difficult to impress the examiner. So we teach them tips and tricks on how to do it. So to do all this, it took a lot of time from us. So then we realized that, we should make it a proper course, charge a fee and do it. So that's how this came up. So we call this the Royal Dream, where now we have 5 instructors, 2 for perio, 2 prosto, and I do the endo part. So we come together and we take classes, we do mock exams. So basically we have a 3-month program where we take classes on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays. And we take a 2 to 3 hour lecture, online live lectures. And after that, we give a weekly theory mock exam. And at the end of the 3-month program, we give a complete 3 or 4 day mock, like how it happens in the exam. Right. So we found that this helps students clear the exam more easily. In fact, last year, we had around 7 of our students give the exam. And out of 7, we had, I think, 4 of them cleared. 2 in Egypt, 2 in Dubai and 2 in Edinburgh cleared.
That's amazing, and I'm very happy that I was able to gain so much knowledge and gain information from your experience. And I am sure that since this certification, this degree is not limited to just MDS endodontist, anybody can apply. So, my dear viewers, students, if anybody wants any guidance, then Dr. Praveen is here. You can mention your questions in comments, or you can also contact him. He is very helpful at various fronts. And I want to thank Dr. Praveen for giving me your precious time. And I hope to meet you once again and ponder on various dreams, which you always aim very high. And thank you for your time and coming for an ASPIRE32.
Thank you, Suresh sir. It was a pleasure to talk with you. You're such a inspiration for me since my PG days. We've always looked up to you. You're right from the time you've been guiding students for KCET and Comet K. We've been a big fan of your work, and we are so happy that you've through ASPIRE32 you have inspired so many people and given them career guidance at the right moment. I hope today I was able to help few people get some good knowledge and make some right decisions. Thank you all, and keep aiming high. The sky's the limit. There are few people who speak negatively about dentistry, but I would really say, the sky's the limit in dentistry. It's all about how what you think and what goals you set. You can achieve them all. Don't worry.